A recent OCTA Research survey shows majority of Filipinos support the Philippines rejoining the International Criminal Court or ICC. The study showed 57% of respondents favor the move, while 37% oppose it, and 6% are undecided. Support was strong in Metro Manila, Balan, Luzon, and the Visayas, but remained low in Mindanao, where 66% opposed rejoining. The survey was conducted from April 20 to 24 with 1,200 respondents with a plus-minus 3 margin of error.
Now, to talk about that survey, we have OCTA Research Fellow Dr. Guido David joining us today via Zoom. Good morning, Prof. Thanks for joining us again. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Natapos na kasing elections, but good morning, my favorite angels, Diego and Nadja.
Right. So what does the 57% support for rejoining the ICC tell us about public sentiment? While looking at the survey before, 58% naman disagree with the arrest of former President Guido Duterte.
Well, it could be seen as separate issues. Rejoining the ICC, as the survey showed, and to be fair naman, this is a bit older survey result, April, but conducted along with the pre-election surveys. But I think it's about the transparency. That's why Filipinos support rejoining ICC. Kasi historically naman, the Philippines had been a member of the ICC. And then, umalis na lang tayo, years ago. And rejoining the ICC may be seen as something that will be beneficial in the long term. So it may not necessarily be connected with the arrest, although of course isipin natin may correlation yun, but it's framed as by itself. Is it something that we should be doing? Of course, if the government decides to rejoin the ICC, they should look at many variables, legal matters, what would be the benefits for the Philippines long term, as far as transparency and diplomacy. And your public sentiment will just be part of the decision making of the national government. Right. But at least the data is there, showing that the majority of Filipinos are in favor of rejoining the ICC.
Yeah, Prof, if you take a look, kasi this is yung pag-atras natin sa ICC is one of the moves that former President Duterte had. And does this indicate that, a lot of people, while not outrightly denouncing former President Duterte as their leader of choice, but rather opposing one of the few moves like EJK and this one, yung mga moves na ginawa niya, is this like a condemnation? Parang gusto nila i-reverse yung mga pinagagawa ni former President Duterte. And in related to that, kasi we see a decrease in support in NCR kay President Duterte. So can we safely say that yung mga classes that oppose, that want to go back to the ICC are from the middle class?
Well, looking at the demographic distribution, actually, maybe not so surprising, sa Mindanao, the support for rejoining the ICC is much lower. It's only 30%. Pero sa NCR, Balance, Luzon, and even sa Visayas, it's over 60%. So sa NCR, 64%. Balance, Luzon, 67%. So, and even even the middle class, yung socio-economic class D, it's at 58%. So, yes, we could argue that, well, not just the middle class, but, a majority of the Filipinos, especially outside Mindanao, about reversing some of the policies. I mean, the former president, let's admit it, naman siya, he was popular because there were some policies that benefited the Filipinos, but not all policies are naman. I mean, hindi naman yan all or nothing. There were some good policies, and there were some policies that there may have been objections to. And yung separating from ICC, may have been a policy that was maybe not favored by
favorable.
majority of Filipinos. So we could view it that way. And I think the war on drugs as a whole, siguro, was supported by Filipinos. We can see that kasi majority of OFWs actually supported yung endorsements during the last election. But I think it could be said that there could be a way for us to conduct war against drugs in a manner
In
na
a different
hindi
manner. Yeah.
right, you're right.
Okay.
Na hindi naman na may madadamay na mga innocent civilians.
Right, right. I was wondering nga, Prof, how was the question framed during the survey? And meron bang probe din dun sa reason kung bakit may such opposition or support dito sa tanong na to?
Well, unfortunately, Angela, the questions asked is, so usually wala na kaming follow-up about why or because that would require a more in-depth discussion. The question is medyo simple. Are you in favor of the Philippines rejoining the International Criminal Court as a member? And so, medyo simple lang. Sometimes may iba sinasabi na dapat may background leading up to the question kasi of course, we saw that in the same survey, 85% said they have heard, read, or watched something about the ICC, recently. So, mataas yung awareness about the ICC. But, yun nga, about rejoining the ICC, it's an as-is question, so 57%.
Okay.
But I think they understand it kasi, yun nga, sa Mindanao, it's much lower, 30% lang ang in favor of rejoining the ICC.
Pero Prof, 30% is quite high given balwate supposedly ni former President Duterte ang Mindanao. I'd like to ask, sa 30% na yan sa Mindanao who agree with rejoining the ICC, how many in Mindanao are still undecided and how many actually oppose it?
Well, only 4% were undecided and 66% opposed it.
Okay.
So mataas nga yung
Mataas.
opposition, right?
Yun nga, I wanna go back dun sa sinabi mo yung they understood naman. No? So I really wanna ask nga po kung they knew the context of the question before answering it para mabigay lang natin yung di ba yung objective nung question na to sa atin. Did they understand what they were answering to?
Well, since they are aware of the ICC, I think they're aware of the context naman. But we don't want to correlate masyado.
Yeah.
Like, for example, with the arrest of the former president. Kasi that may now be a leading...
A different naman yung issue.
Baka mag-lead siya, may influence yung answer nila. That's why we wanted as much as possible to... But I think they're aware of the context. I mean, not just sa Mindanao, but now looking at the provincial or regional breakdowns, the Region 11, the Davao region, only 16% are in favor of rejoining the ICC. So I think they understand the context.
Pero Prof, as a whole, what's the lowest socioeconomic class na what's the lowest socioeconomic class na umaayaw na bumalik sa ICC? Do we see the upper class, lower class in favor of going back to the ICC? Ano yung breakdown yan?
Yes, it's actually yung E. Sa E, 54% are in favor and 42% are not in favor sa socio-economic class E. Pero sa ABC, 63% are in favor. So sa pinakamataas sa socio-economic class ABC, in favor of rejoining the ICC.
Pero parang across the board, parang most are in favor, no, Prof? Parang demographic issue lang, kaya lang bumaba ng konti yung favorability dahil the rest are in Mindanao.
Tama, yeah. So across different, age groups, although I noticed nga sa younger age group, I think sa millennials, not sa mga Gen Zs, but sa millennials, like 25 to 34 age group.
35, 34, oo.
Yes, mas mataas sila.
62%.
Right, 62% compared to the others. But generally, majority are in favor. I mean, whether it's 50 plus or 60 plus, the majority are in favor of rejoining the ICC. Pero tama si Diego na it's only in Mindanao that we're seeing a less than majority in favor of rejoining the ICC.
It's interesting po that you mentioned that yung mga ages kasi yun nga, I was looking at it, 25 to 34 age bracket, 62% yung in support of rejoining the ICC. Pero lowest among respondents, ages 45 to 54 at 50%. So parang, in essence, sumasalamin din siya dun sa nangyaring eleksyon. 'Di ba? Na mas mataas.
Exactly.
Parang ganun ba? Can you that? Oo. Pwede ba nating sabihin at that way?
Yes, exactly, Angela. So meron parang consistency with the recent election results na may sort of youth vote that is parang trending in a different direction compared to the more of the middle-aged groups.
No.
Oh, yeah. Siguro, lastly na lang, ano po ba sa tingin nyo, aside dun sa mga napag-usapan natin, going back to Jego's question earlier, ano pa po yung mga factors na nakita po natin na parang, sige, pumayag yung mga majority of the Filipinos na bumalik tayo sa ICC?
I think yun nga, this is more of speculation, parang inference. Parang, I think it's more for transparency and for international relations to foster a better diplomatic relations with other countries, and I think to show the Philippines that wala naman tayong tinatago or wala tayong we're not being afraid of. It's not about us wanting to be governed, but rather more for the transparency of our processes para pakita natin the confidence that we have with our system na kahit na member tayo ng ICC, we're confident that we could tackle issues dito locally na hindi tayo natatakot kung ano yung magiging interpretation sa international court.
Pero before we let you go, Prof, hindi kaya pwedeng the other way around yon na lack of trust sa judicial system natin, that we want a third party out there hovering over our heads to make sure na yung ginagawa natin dito ay tama?
Well,
speculative,
that's also,
speculative din.
Right, speculative. That's also an interesting
point.
Look at, and I can't say if I'm right or you're right. I mean, maybe we're both right to some extent, or maybe but yes, that's also a fair point. Na we want oversight on our systems or our judicial systems. In a way, it's sort of a check and balance. Na parang we want to make sure that the process here, in whatever judicial process we have, we follow it, and then we oversight. Yung point ka naman, hindi naman siya necessarily against your point. It's more like parang since kung magiging confident in tayo sa system, kahit na may oversight ng other countries, parang we're sure na the process will be followed. But yes, that's a very fair point. So I might use that in the future.
The future survey. But we will continue to get in touch with you regarding surveys, especially malapit na rin ang State of the Nation address ng Pangulo. Ano yung mga gustong marinig ng mga Pilipino sa kanyang
mas lalo na yung mga
nagawa niya, no?
Mas lalo yung mga millennials tulad ko.
Ikaw, millennials ba?
Ba't ka natawa, Prof?
Sabi ni Prof, mag-edad lang daw.
Magkaedad lang kami ni Prof. So, millennials kami.
Yes, millennials kami.
Wow. Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyo. That was OCTA Research Fellow Dr. Guido David. Thank you so much po.
Thank you.